If you've ever had interest in making a Pokemon game, well, I'm going to do a small series just to show you how easy it can be. We're using PoryMaps and Pokemon Decompilation, basically a version of Emerald which breaks down all the code. And here you can see how easy it is to start putting tiles on. So we're going to create a little raised up area, and on here we're going to create the starter Pokemon. So from here we've got our little raised up area, and we want to make sure the player can't walk through it. So we're going to set some X's on the edges, and this just stops the player from walking there. But to make sure the player doesn't go from a higher area to a lower area, we're just going to define the Y value and then make this little bridge saying let's go up and down. Just like that, we have an area the player can walk on. Now we need to add in some events. These events or objects are what the player interacts with. So we're going to create 3 of these, and we're going to change them to look like Pokeballs. And these are going to be where the player will get their starter from. So we'll take 1, 2, and 3. This on its own just adds the object into the game and draws it, but it doesn't do anything in terms of scripting. So we're going to open up the map scripts, and we can see here what it looks like. So this is PoryScript, which is a sort of custom-made wrapper for all of the actions you can write, and it makes things so much easier. So we need to create the same script basically 3 times but with different Pokemon. And a couple of things we want to make sure it does is once you select a Pokemon, we don't want to have you don't want to be able to pick another one and then give you the Pokemon. So nice simple start. So we're going to call the script choose starter Pokemon 1. And from here we need to lock all, which will lock the player and any other assets around it, and then release it. So at the end it clears everything up. We want to sort of say, okay, well, when you talk to this, you want to pick a Pokemon. So we'll do a message box, which will pop that message in the bottom and format it, just stops it from overflowing and filling up your screen. And we're going to say, do you want to choose, and we're going to pick a really cool Pokemon, which is Inkay. So do you want Inkay to be a starter Pokemon? We're going to do something even cooler and show it on screen. So we're going to do show the Pokemon picture, and we're going to say pick us the picture of Inkay. And where do we want to put it? Let's put it at 15, 15. That just draws it, the rough coordinates of it. And then from there we're going to say, okay, well, this is an option. So we want to set a yes, no. So we're going to go, at the end of it, we're just going to put message box yes, no, which means, at the end of all this, give us a choice. And now we need to divide the 2 options. So if the player says no, what are we going to do? Okay, well, if the variable, so the result from this, variable result is equal to no, we're just going to say, okay, that's fine. Let's pick another Pokemon. I'll choose another Pokemon. Okay, but the exciting thing is, if we pick yes, this is where we're going to give the Pokemon. So if the result is yes, then all things are wonderful, and we need to give that Pokemon to the player. So we need to give them on, and we're giving a species Inkay. We're going to make it level 5, and we'll start it with an Oranberry. You don't have to give it a starting Pokemon, but starting item, but you can. This middle one just picks the level. Boom! You have now given the player a Pokemon to start with. Let's play a fanfare. Let's play a bit of sound to go hooray. So music item that gives us that da 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 da, or however it sounds. Now the awkward thing is, how do we stop this from giving us Pokemon multiple times, or how do we stop it from, being able to choose another thing? So this is where we're going to use the concept of a flag. A flag is just a yes, no, true, false value. So we're going to create a new flag. We're going to say we're going to use a flag. If this flag, unused flag, is not true, so we're going to put an exclamation point which just reverses this. So if this value is false, then we're going to do all of this. We're going to basically give them the chance to pick a Pokemon. However, if this flag is going to be true, so they've already selected a Pokemon, then we're just going to say, message box, format it, don't be greedy, you already chose your starter. Bing bang bush, very easy. The one thing we're missing is when you select your starter, we want to actually do flag or set flag, and we're going to take that value and pop it in there. So once you've chosen your starter, we're going to set flag. I'm just going to change the way this round is, because the first thing we want to check is if you've got it, just in case that you end up doing it in the wrong order. It will cause some weird bugs. And just like that, we can now select our starter. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to take that into our PoryMap, select the left ball, and on the right here we'll type it into script 1. And just like that, we now have our starter. So I'm going to quickly cut, and we're going to edit it. We're going to edit. So now we're going to add the other 3, and then we'll show you it in game. Just like all of that, we now have our game. I had to make a couple of changes and change a few values and move things around, but you can now pick from Steelix. I'm going to say no. You can now pick from the Sableye, or of course you can do the correct choice, which is pick your Inkay. You pick that up and you add Inkay to your party, and it's got that level 5 and all those stats we told you about. And the best thing of all is now if we try and pick something else, it will just say, don't be greedy, you've already chosen your starter. Don't be you've chosen your starter. And just like that, you guys can now make your own little starter progress. If you want to see more, then just make suggestions on what you'd like us to code next. Follow for more sort of tutorials. And if you've got, if you want to see the code, I'll be sharing it in Discord, which you'll be able to find in our profile. See you all later.